As a young boy growing up in a small town, Jack had big dreams of becoming a successful entrepreneur. He dreamed of owning a fleet of luxury cars, a sprawling mansion, and traveling the world in style. But as he grew older, Jack found himself struggling to turn his dreams into reality. Despite his best efforts, Jack was stuck in a dead-end job, living paycheck to paycheck, and feeling like he was never going to make it. That is, until he stumbled upon a book that would change his life forever, Jim Rohn's 7 Essential Strategies for Success. As Jack devoured each chapter, he was blown away by the simple yet powerful strategies that Jim Rohn laid out. Unleashing the power of goals, seeking knowledge, learning the miracle of personal development, controlling your finances, mastering time, surrounding yourself with winners, and learning the art of living well. These were the keys to success that Jack had been missing. With each passing day, Jack began implementing these strategies into his life. He set clear goals for himself, invested in his personal development, and started to take control of his finances. He even surrounded himself with like-minded individuals who were on the same path to success. As he began to see results, Jack realized that Jim Rohn's philosophy was more than just a set of strategies, it was a way of life. And with each passing day, he felt himself inching closer and closer to his dreams. Now, as a successful entrepreneur with a thriving business, Jack looks back on the day he picked up Jim Rohn's book as the turning point in his life. And he knows that with the 7 essential strategies for success, anything is possible. Chapter 1: 5 Key Words. As a young man, Thomas had always been fascinated by the idea of success. He had read all the books and attended all the seminars. He knew that success was no more than the natural consequence of consistently applying the fundamentals of success to life. He knew that there were always a half-dozen things that made 80% of the difference. For Thomas, those half-dozen things were wealth, happiness, discipline, commitment, progress, and personal values. He knew that if he could master these fundamentals, he could achieve anything he wanted in life. Thomas was raised on a farm, and he knew firsthand the importance of the half-dozen basics in reaping a plentiful harvest. So, he decided to apply the same principles to his own life. He started by setting a clear goal for himself: to become a successful businessman and entrepreneur. Thomas knew that wealth was a necessary component of his success. He worked hard and smart, and his efforts paid off. He started to accumulate currency and equity, and he felt a sense of freedom that he had never experienced before. But Thomas knew that wealth alone was not enough. He also needed happiness, discipline, commitment, progress, and personal values. He knew that he had to enjoy the journey as much as the destination. Thomas worked hard to expand his horizons and experiences, to feast on harmony as well as food, on ideas as well as bread. He disciplined himself to act, care, strive, climb, learn, and just keep going every day. He knew that the smallest discipline could have an incredible effect on his attitude, and he was determined to stay the course. Thomas's commitment was tested when circumstances emerged that could interfere with his commitment to his new discipline, when he had to perform, come rain or come shine. But he remained focused and disciplined, knowing that his commitment was the key to his success. As Thomas progressed on his journey, he realized that success was both a journey and a destination. It was the steady, measured progress toward a goal and the achievement of a goal. Success was making his life what he wanted it to be, based on his personal values and ambitions. Thomas faced the future with anticipation, knowing that discipline attracts opportunity. He had developed the skills and ambition to act, and he grabbed onto exciting opportunities that forever remain unseen by more timid souls. He knew that success was not a set of standards from our culture but rather a collection of personal values clearly defined and ultimately achieved. In the end, Thomas achieved his goal of becoming a successful businessman and entrepreneur. But he also achieved something much more important: he made his life what he wanted it to be. He had mastered the half-dozen fundamentals of success, and in doing so, he had created a life filled with wealth, happiness, discipline, commitment, progress, and personal values. Chapter 2: Goals. What motivate people? Jessica had always been a hard worker, but lately, she was feeling like she was stuck in a rut. She knew she was capable of achieving great things, but she just couldn't seem to find the motivation to push herself to the next level. One day, she stumbled upon a book that talked about the power of motivation. The author explained that if you have enough motivation, you can do incredible things. Jessica was intrigued. She had always known that motivation was important, but she had never really thought about just how powerful it could be. The author went on to say that necessity is the mother of invention, and that it's important to work on your reasons before you start looking for answers. That got Jessica thinking. What was her reason for wanting to succeed? She thought about it for a while and then it hit her. Her ex-boyfriend had always been a bit of a jerk, and he had dumped her because he didn't think she was ambitious enough. She wanted to prove him wrong. She wanted to show him that she was capable of massive success. In fact, she wanted to make it so big that it would be the sweetest revenge. Inspired by this new motivation, Jessica started working harder than ever before. She threw herself into her work, and soon she was making huge strides. She started to feel more confident and more powerful with each passing day. One day, she stumbled upon an article about Andrew Carnegie, who had famously written that his main goal in life was to spend the first half of his life accumulating money, and the second half giving it all away. Jessica was struck by his words. She realized that she didn't just want to succeed for revenge, she also wanted to make a positive impact on the world. With this new insight, Jessica redoubled her efforts. She continued to work hard, but now she was doing it for a cause that was bigger than herself. And before she knew it, she had achieved massive success. Her ex-boyfriend was now the one who was jealous of her. And she had the satisfaction of knowing that she had made a positive impact on the world, just like Andrew Carnegie had. Chapter 3. Goals. How to set them. Once a year, Amelia sat down to review her goals and make adjustments for the upcoming year. This year, she decided to take a more detailed approach and choose 4 goals from each of the 4 time categories. As she reviewed her list, she realized that some of her goals were merely passing fancies and replaced them with more meaningful ones. Amelia described each of her 16 goals in detail, including the model, color, salary, and number of employees for each item. For example, she wanted to purchase a red convertible sports car with a black leather interior, a high-end laptop with a 17-inch screen, and a designer handbag made of Italian leather. As she wrote down her reasons for each goal, she discovered that some of them were based on superficial desires and didn't align with her long-term vision for her life. She revised her list accordingly and made sure that each goal was aligned with her values and purpose. She made it a point to review her goals every week to ensure that she was taking active steps towards achieving them. Amelia understood that goal setting was not a one-time task and needed to be a continuous, lifelong process. By writing down her goals, Amelia showed her commitment to growth and her seriousness about achieving success. She knew that hope long delayed could make the heart sick and was determined to take action towards her goals every day. Chapter 4. Goals. Making them work for you. Once upon a time, there was a man named Jack who had a deep desire to start his own business. He had a dream of building a successful company that would provide value to his community and generate a significant income for him and his family. Jack knew that he needed to develop his skills and knowledge to achieve his goal, so he invested in personal development by reading books and attending seminars. With his newfound knowledge and inspiration, Jack started working on his business plan and began to ask for help from those around him. He asked for advice from successful entrepreneurs, sought out potential partners, and even reached out to investors for funding. Despite facing setbacks and obstacles along the way, Jack remained committed to his goal and kept asking for help and support. As a result, his abilities grew, and he tapped into untapped potential and talents that he never knew existed. Eventually, Jack's hard work and determination paid off. He successfully launched his business, and it quickly became a thriving enterprise. His well-defined goals, strong work ethic, and strategic use of resources had paid off, and he was living proof that income can rarely exceed personal development. He also learned the value of keeping his eye on his own seasons, not spending minor time on major things, and investing in his personal growth and education to achieve his dreams. Chapter 5. The Path to Wisdom. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Jack who lived in a small village. Jack dreamed of becoming successful and living a life of luxury. However, he had no idea where to begin. One day, he stumbled upon a quote by Earl Schoaf that said, "If you wish to be successful, study success." Those words resonated with Jack and he decided to put them into practice. Jack began to read books about successful people, their lives, and their journeys. He studied their habits, their routines, and their mindset. He learned that successful people had a strong work ethic, were disciplined, and were always willing to learn and grow. He also learned that happiness was not just about having money, but it was also about having purpose, relationships, and a positive attitude. Jack decided to implement what he had learned and started to work hard, be disciplined, and continuously learn and grow. He began to invest his time and money wisely, spending on things that added value to his life, rather than just cost. He also started to reflect on his life at the end of every week, month, and year, learning from his experiences and using them to invest in his future. Jack's hard work and dedication soon paid off. He started his own business and became very successful, but he did not stop there. He continued to learn and grow, read more books, and surround himself with successful people. He also gave back to his community, using his success to help others. In the end, Jack realized that his success was not just about himself, but it was about the people he helped and the impact he made on the world. He knew that he could never stop learning and growing, and that his journey to success was a lifelong process. Chapter 6. The Miracle of Personal Development. Alice had always dreamed of having a successful career, but she had never taken any steps towards making that a reality. She had a good job, but she felt like she was stuck in a rut, unable to move forward. One day, she stumbled upon an old book that talked about personal development, and she began to read. As she delved deeper into the book, she began to understand that success was not something that just happened to people, but rather something that was earned through hard work and dedication. She realized that she had to become an above-average person if she wanted to earn an above-average income. Alice started to make changes in her life, one small step at a time. She woke up earlier and made time for exercise and meditation. She read books and attended seminars to learn new skills. She took on new challenges and responsibilities at work. At first, Alice faced a lot of difficulties and setbacks. She struggled with procrastination and made excuses for herself. But she soon realized that these were self-imposed limitations that were holding her back. She began to change her mindset, embracing the idea that she was remarkable and had the ability to turn nothing into something. She learned to protect what she had created and to see every difficulty as an opportunity for growth. As she continued on her journey of personal development, Alice noticed that opportunities started to come her way. She was offered a new job with more responsibilities and a higher salary. She was able to turn her side hustle into a successful business. She even found love with someone who shared her passion for personal growth. Through it all, Alice learned that change is possible, and that inch by inch, everything really is a cinch. She realized that the key to success was not just in what she did, but in who she became. And she was grateful for the book that had set her on this path towards personal development and success. Chapter 7. How to Achieve Financial Freedom. Once there was a young man named Alex who dreamed of becoming a successful entrepreneur. He believed that if he had more money, he could create the business of his dreams. He spent his days working a minimum wage job and his nights searching for the next big idea. One day, he met a wealthy businessman named Mr. Johnson who offered to mentor him. Mr. Johnson shared with Alex his secret to success, the 70-30 rule. He explained that successful people don't focus on how much they make, but rather, on what they do with the money they earn. The rule stated that one should live on 70% of their income and save and invest the remaining 30%. Alex was inspired by Mr. Johnson's words and decided to implement the rule into his own life. He started to save and invest his money and learned how to live within his means. He no longer felt the need to spend money on things that didn't matter, and he began to see his finances improve. As time went by, Alex's hard work paid off. He saved enough money to start his own business, and with Mr. Johnson's guidance, he built a successful company that brought in a lot of income. He realized that it wasn't just about how much money he made, but rather, how he used the money he earned. Alex became an inspiration to others and shared the 70-30th rule with anyone who would listen. He realized that it wasn't just about making money, but about being wise with what you have. He knew that by following the rule, he could achieve anything he set his mind to, and he did. Chapter 8. How to be an enlightened time manager. Sarah was a successful entrepreneur who had built her company from scratch. She was always on the go, and she often found herself juggling multiple tasks at once. Despite her busy schedule, she was always on time for her meetings and appointments. People often asked her how she managed her time so effectively. Sarah's secret was simple. She knew how to say no. She had learned that saying yes to everything was a recipe for disaster. It was important to prioritize her time and focus on what was important. But Sarah hadn't always been this way. When she started her business, she said yes to every opportunity that came her way. She wanted to take advantage of every chance to grow her company. However, Sarah soon realized that saying yes to everything was causing her stress and burnout. She was always running from one meeting to the next, and she never had time for herself. She was constantly tired, and she wasn't as productive as she wanted to be. It wasn't until Sarah learned to say no that she started to regain control of her time. She began to prioritize her schedule, and she made time for the things that mattered most to her. She started to exercise regularly, spend time with her family and friends, and read books that interested her. As Sarah's company continued to grow, she never forgot the importance of saying no. She knew that it was the most effective time management word, and it allowed her to focus on what was truly important. She often shared this advice with other entrepreneurs, telling them that it was okay to say no sometimes. Sarah's success was not just about her business, but also about her ability to manage her time effectively. She knew that good time management was crucial to achieving her goals, and she had learned that saying no was an important part of that process.